When traveling, you could stay at another boring hotel. Or you could stay here. Now, everyday people are transforming their homes and renting them out to total strangers, offering travelers unique and creative places to stay. The short-term rental trend is global, and despite some criticism, it's here to stay. I renovate and flip houses for a living. Creativity is in my bones, and my job depends on me thinking outside the box. We're all dreaming of ways to have less impact on the environment, and renting out an eco-home is a way to experiment with that. Now, everyone can try it out because homeowners who are dedicated to green living are renting out some very cool spaces. This modern eco-home was handcrafted using wine bottles as building materials and old tires for insulation. Do you know how many tires there are?
Yeah, over 1,000 tires went into this back.
And for a more rustic rental, this romantic log cabin is totally off-grid.
If you want the true settler's experience, go no power.
Finally, an urban loft filled with plants and upcycled furniture that provides a green living experience in an urban environment.
We want people to consider fixing something or recycling something as opposed to just buying something new.
Nowadays, living is all about excess, ease, and convenience. But many of us are waking up to how much energy we're wasting, and we're eager to do something about it. Eco-friendly short-term rentals are a great way for people to sample the green life without too much added expense or complication.
I think eco-friendly is a major trend, and I think people are going to be moving towards experiencing eco-friendly sorts of destinations and properties for years to come. I think it's still early in this trend, but I think people are looking for what it means, how people are doing it, and looking for ways to experience something outside of what their current housing looks like.
88% of hosts are incorporating elements of green living into their rentals, and an estimated 66% of guests appreciated the environmental benefits of home sharing. Green living showcases the creativity of homeowners and allows guests to get more down to earth. This homeowner had 100 volunteers help build this eco-property by hand. Matt's home is made entirely of repurposed materials and even has an indoor greenhouse. Guests staying here get a glimpse into a truly unique way of green living. Matt's home is a self-sufficient green building. It's equipped with modern amenities, but it's off-grid and made from natural, recycled materials. This design is called an earthship. It's a style of architecture that inspired Matt to create his very own eco-home. Matt rents out 2 bedrooms and 1 bath. He shares the kitchen and living space with guests while living on the opposite side of the home. His goal was to build something guests could see themselves in. Eco, yet modern and stylish. Wow, this is amazing. And it smells so fresh in here. What an incredible first impression.
Welcome.
Hey, Matt.
Hey.
I'm just admiring your indoor greenhouse here.
Yeah.
How do you keep this vegetation watered and...
Going, yeah. So when you start out the seed, you've got to water it, but then once the seeds get going, through transpiration, the roots can suck up the water from down low. So it's actually gray water that filters into these beds and waters them passively. That's one of the key principles in earthship design is that we're recycling and reusing water all different ways. So the one way is we catch the rainwater off the roof and reuse that water, watering the plants outside, as well as our toilet system is hooked up to flush them from the roof water.
What's the idea behind this space?
This is an earthship. So the idea behind an earthship is that it's built from recycled material. So we use tires, pop cans, bottles during the process. We're facing south. We're collecting that solar thermal energy through the sun as it passes through the horizon there. And this whole room will heat up to 80 degrees naturally through the day. So you can control the temperature in there by opening and closing the doors, as simple as that.
Tell me a bit more about the actual build process here.
I was involved in every step of the way, but we had over 100 volunteers give us a hand building this project, which was great because people were able to learn, while they were sort of lending a hand here.
And then I hear like a lot of the furniture in here as well was something you handcrafted.
Yeah, in the finishing stages, that's what's been fun, is just adding those little touches afterwards, bring the piece together.
And I guess using whatever material is left over.
Exactly. To me, there's a story behind each piece, and so it's fun sharing those little stories about each piece to guests when they come stay.
What was it that drew you to short-term rentals? Why did you want to share this space with people?
I mean, that was just it, is that it was such a learning process for me in building it, and I wanted to inspire others to be able to think that they could do this too.
I'd love to know more about the construction of the back of this house.
Yeah, it's all built out of tires. There's a way we can show you those tires.
Really?
Just back here.
Yeah, I would love that. Let's take a look.
Let's take a look.
I think when people are doing one of these eco-friendly green spaces, I think interaction with that host is much more critical. People want to learn about the rubber tire roof, and they want to learn about how they're catching rainwater to take a shower. You know, there's just a lot more they want to learn about and experience.
So this is the truth window.
Wow, look at this.
Right
Cool.
here, through this glass, you can see all the tires that were constructed in the building.
And this runs the full width of the house.
Yeah.
Do you know how many tires there are?
Yeah, over 1,000 tires went into this back.
1,000 tires.
Behind these tire wall, you've got about 15 feet of earth. There are these cooling tubes that come through. And so by being buried in the earth, the house is passively working off of those geothermal principles.
So then it stays cool all the time.
It does.
That's amazing. Matt, I love this space. It's so big, and these tall ceilings.
Yeah.
And again, all the wood. It's so fantastic. Did you have someone help you design the space?
It was really all just sort of my ideas as it went along, and it was ideas really keeping it simple, recycling and reusing things along the way.
I love the black wall, and it's so kind of earthy and just sort of really grounding.
Yes.
And then in contrast, this gorgeous white shiplap, which is sort of fresh and modern.
Yeah. Tied in the black and the white to the kitchen design with the concrete countertops and then the white cabinetry. And the idea behind wherever you can input concrete into the design is that it's going to also be a heat sink. When you're drawing that sunlight energy in at the front, when it's hitting these elements of concrete, it's storing that thermal energy in that mass.
I love how everything you've done has that purpose to it. This isn't just an island to gather around.
Yeah,
There is a
yeah.
kind of heat source and
That's
a reason
right.
to it. That's
Yeah.
very cool. It is a big space, but it does feel cozy. And having this kind of central communal area for people to gather around this gorgeous table,
Yeah.
it's a really nice element.
It is. I love having the open space where people can be in the living room or in the kitchen, and they're still all kind of together still.
What was your approach to the bathrooms?
The washrooms, I mean, the cool thing again about them is that we're able to, when you're washing your hands, that the water goes to the plants and waters the plants at the front.
And the bedrooms as well, they're so inviting. And again, sort of a celebration of all those different textures and wood. Did you have a kind of particular vision in mind or a design approach?
I mean, really, it was still came down to recycling and reusing. And so the wood that we used in the roof rafters was reclaimed. Yeah.
So they're still having a luxury stay.
They are.
Even though it's an eco property.
That's right.
I think I love that kind of, that marriage.
I wanted this to be attractive to everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think you've accomplished that. So who do you find typically rents this space?
Well, people that are interested in eco-living, and then typically couples, you know, that are wanting a romantic getaway or families. And so this gives them an example of eco-living and just living and breathing in this space. You know, it inspires them.
Well, Matt, I love this space. Thank you for showing me around.
Oh, thanks for coming.
This rental is truly unique in the way it was built, in the way it functions, in the way it was furnished. It really is a great showcase for green living. Matt's put his heart and soul into this home. Everything here is handmade, and he's been focused on guest experience, both in the way they use the space and how they interact with him and his passion for sustainability. This property proves that just because something's eco-friendly, it doesn't mean it can't be modern and luxurious. This space is warm, inviting, and architecturally interesting. This is a great space for anybody looking for a green vacation. Creating a short-term rental with an eco-friendly focus is a winning way to help the Earth and occupancy rates. Matt's Earthship gives a nod to the future, celebrating and protecting the environment, while our next property embraces yesterday to safeguard tomorrow. Have you ever dreamed of getting away from it all and living in the country? The fresh air, the rolling hills, the chance of a simpler life? Well, here on this 200-acre horse farm, you can do just that. And you get to pick glamping or eco-luxury. This tranquil stretch of countryside is owned by Luke. He took 2 of his farm buildings to create luxury experiences with a focus on green eco-living. The glamping cabin dates back to the 1800s and was built around the time of the American Civil War. It's now a short-term rental that's fully off-grid and entirely on point for modern guests.
Hey, Luke, this place is spectacular. It's like the quintessential log cabin. It's gorgeous in here. It feels quite luxurious, even though it is sort of a rustic space. Talk to me about some of the pieces in here.
Sure. It's like a combination of antiques that we had laying around the farm. Those are my grandfather's skis over there. This bed I actually handmade.
I can't believe you did this yourself.
Yeah, thank you. I actually built that coffee table over there too. Used old oak fence boards just to kind of tie it back into the farm.
It's a horse farm predominantly, is that right?
Yeah, that's right. We're 3rd generation. My grandparents bought it in 1967. People come and they stay on a farm and then they're like, oh, can I go ride a horse?
Yeah.
Yes, now you can.
What's the main draw of their stay?
I think it's the fact that it's an off-grid cabin. You really feel like you're remote here. In the winter, now that there's no road in and out, it's either snowshoe in or snowmobile in.
How do you heat the space? It's like nice and toasty and warm in here right now. So how does that function?
Yeah, we've got a wood-burning stove, and it kicks out a ton of heat. The insulation job's awesome.
Yeah.
And the logs themselves provide quite a bit of insulation naturally, so it can heat up very quickly in here.
Talk to me a little bit more about being off-grid. What does that mean in this space?
In this space, it means no power, no running water. You've got no heat except for what you create for yourself. So if I want to be warm, I've got to start a fire. If I want to wash these dishes, I've got to boil some water. So you really have to just plan ahead. It gives you like a respect for how people lived, you know, 100 years ago, 200 years ago. They have the option of turning on a generator for power or running just candles and firelight. If you want the true settler's experience, go no power.
I think that's great. What about washroom facilities? There's nothing here, so where would we go?
I'm glad you asked.
Yeah.
So we actually built, I call it the bathhouse.
Okay.
So it's a composting outhouse, just about, I'd say 50 feet from the cabin.
Yeah, I can just see it through there.
Yeah.
Cute.
And we actually created an outdoor shower off the side of it. So it's got a 100-gallon tank that's on a gravity feed. But you're basically showering out and about in the trees.
Just at one with nature. What is it that you love about short-term rentals?
I've created an environment that I feel like will really enhance somebody's day. Like, I really like making somebody have a great day. Short-term rentals are great because I get to do that time after time.
I think that's what adds to the authenticity of this space. You know, I love that you're sharing some of your family heirlooms and then that you've made stuff and then you've brought in things from the farm. It's just a very clever way of kind of curating a space.
Thank you.
You have another property on the farm, is that right?
That's right. The original short-term rental unit is called the Tack House. It's pretty awesome. Listen, I've got a snowmobile. Do you want to go check it out?
Absolutely. Come on, let's do it. Okay.
The Tack House was built in the 1840s and at one time housed a family of 8. While this loft does have the luxury of running water, power, and an indoor bathroom, it's still heavily focused on sustainability.
Oh, wow. This is another great space. But, like, so different from the cabin, but still kind of rustic, but I love it.
Yeah, we went for more of like a contemporary rustic in here. So there's some gas piping metalwork mixed with reclaimed wood.
And you said that this used to be the tack house.
Yeah, this was where we stored all of the old saddles, bridles, bits, all the tack for the horses.
Wow, so it really has undergone quite the transformation.
Totally.
I noticed as I'm kind of looking around here, you still kept quite a lot of sort of homemade elements, which is really nice.
The first thing I think I made here was a bookshelf. So I just reused an old pallet. I made a coffee table, and my brother welded together the legs. The top of a handmade sink.
I can't believe that you made your own vanity. That's quite impressive.
Repurposing old materials to create something new is part of what makes this eco-loft green.
So take me through the space. So upstairs is one bedroom?
Yeah, so it's a loft space upstairs. So built a queen-size bed, framed in, and then reclaimed wood all around it. We've got storage space down the sides in the dead area where it's too low to walk. And then there's another day bed lounger just by the window. It's like a little reading nook. There's books up there. It's a great spot to chill, check out the stars.
And then this space has its own functional washroom.
Yeah. Again, it's a small space, so it took a while to figure out how we were going to do everything. I used a composting toilet. I created a kitchen sink that's also a bathroom sink.
What kind of guests do you normally get in a place like this?
There's a lot of people that just want to be more in touch with the environment. This is a place where you wake up in the morning and you don't really know what time it is because you've had such a great sleep. There's no noise. It's so quiet. And then people go for walks or they go horseback riding. So it's a lot of people that want to get outside.
What are the kind of added extras you've kind of included here for your guests?
Well, I mean, obviously we're hooked up to power, which is nice. So there's hydro coming into the unit. We've also got running water. What I like to do when guests show up is have a little welcome basket. So I've got farm-made wine, and then usually I have like some chocolates or gifts just to help them feel at home.
And they're all kind of locally sourced.
That's right.
Thank you so much for showing me around. I've loved seeing these two really contrasting spaces. And thank you for the snowmobile ride. That was wicked.
My pleasure.
This is such a unique property with two different rental options. One off-grid cabin and one luxurious eco-loft. Both are in the perfect setting for a truly authentic countryside getaway. It can be daunting to live off-grid, but Lou's cabin is the right blend of rustic back to basics and luxury living that any guest can enjoy. I am not a camper, but here I for sure would try out the glamping. Green living can be both gentle on the earth and luxurious. Matt built his Earthship with green living at the forefront. And Luke's passion for sustainability shows in every nook and cranny in the loft and the cabin. But staying out of town in the great outdoors is not the only way to respect and connect with nature. This 108-year-old urban loft has been converted into a mix of residential and commercial spaces. Gwen and Matt have created an eco-friendly city space, filling their loft with plants and using salvaged materials to furnish it. Their passion for upcycled furniture and local antiques is a creative way to reduce their carbon footprint and let their guests experience urban green living.
Do tropical plants and lush greenery automatically make you feel like you're on vacation? Our next homeowners were so inspired by Singapore's flora and fauna that they filled their loft with over 100 exotic plants. Hey!
Hey, come on in.
Hi! Oh my goodness, this space is incredible.
Thank you.
Wow, there's so much light and all these plants. It's such a kind of urban jungle. What was the inspiration for that?
Well, the inspiration just came from where I came from originally. I came from Singapore. I feel the more plants, the merrier, and everybody who comes here seems to agree with me, so there's no stopping me.
Wow, that must take some serious maintenance.
It sure does.
So you've done a lot of upcycling to furnish this space. What are some of your favorite pieces?
Some of my favorite pieces are actually a couple of mid-century modern chairs that we just found at the side of the street. We cleaned them up, we put new cushions on them, and voila, they're worth tons now, and we had no idea initially.
I can't believe people would leave that on the side of the street.
I know.
Is that a gong?
Yes, it's a Javanese gong, and I hand-carried that gong all the way from Sarawak, where my maternal side is from. It just reminds me of my roots and where I've come from.
I think that's lovely. It kind of personalizes the space.
This place, I would say, it's styled by us, but a million other hands have come in and nudged things around. And sometimes, you know, when they try to put things back, I just tell them to leave it. Because, you know, it just looks great that way. And I feel that that's a piece of everybody that's been in here and they've, like, shifted things around.
It's almost like a community space.
It
Yes,
is,
it is.
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
How do you find guests typically use the space?
We have all sorts, really. Beyond some of the short-term overnight stays, we also have a lot of daytime bookings. Bridal showers, baby showers are really big in the space here.
We've had jazz performances.
Yeah, that's right, the Bossa Nova performance that was
pop-up
here.
restaurants. We hold a lot of parties here, a lot of private get-togethers of our own. And we've had board meetings in here, too.
You name it, it's happened here.
You have to kind of juggle a lot of balls in this space because you have so many different kinds of guests. What did you have to do to get it rental ready?
I wanted people immediately to feel comfortable and, you know, to have lots of areas where people could sit, people could cluster. We have all this vintage furniture out because we want people to enjoy pieces like that and to perhaps consider fixing something or recycling something and being a little bit more eco-friendly as opposed to just throwing things away and buying something new. Because of the different groups that come here, we kind of made the space versatile. We invite people to move things around. The furniture is light.
That's really cool. So you actually actively encourage your guests to come in and sort of make the space their own, move stuff around.
Absolutely.
I think that's really interesting. I see over here there's a swing, and I've got to try it out.
Yeah. Awesome.
And it's pretty comfortable. I love this. It's such a memorable element in the space.
It's everyone's favorite.
So what is this space used for?
Well, this space we keep really open because it's great for photography, videos. If people want to mill around, and we'll set up tables, lots of great fun things.
Yeah. So this is the flex space, really.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. So are there any other homemade items in this space?
Yes, I actually had a hand at making some macrame. There's also a couple of tiny paintings that I've done. The space really is a reflection of kind of all the things that we see.
And your creativity as well.
Oh, well, yeah, I like to think it's just me saving money.
What's behind the wall?
That leads into the secret bedroom.
The secret bedroom. Okay,
Yeah.
Let's go take a look. This is another great space. What a lovely bedroom.
Thanks a lot. We put a lot of thought into making it really comfy and cozy for everyone who comes by.
Yeah, I can see that. Tell me a bit about your approach to designing this space.
First and foremost, it was coziness and comfort. We also brought in some of our eclectic elements that you saw outside. Of course, more plants. And then we have this vintage map. We're really big travelers, and we like to always be surrounded by the world as much as we can.
Absolutely. And what about kind of in terms of luxury elements? Was there anything you added into the space kind of to keep guests super comfortable?
One of the things I find with short-term rentals is that they always cheap out on the bed, and I hate that. This is my secret weapon. I have these huge, nice, poofy duvets on there. You should have lush pillows. And the whole concept of the bed is that I want people to lay in it and feel as though they're sinking into a cloud of heaven.
Yeah, because having a good night's sleep is so important in a rental.
Absolutely.
Yes.
This is such a gorgeous and interesting space. Thanks for showing me around.
My pleasure.
Matt and Gwen have created their very own urban jungle. This is such a memorable space with an impressive collection of plant life, upcycled furniture, and local antiques. This is an adaptable space that's suitable for groups, parties, photo shoots, and more. These elements and the flexibility of the space means it's very rentable and continuously booked. They really have created a fantastic green city space worth experiencing. Many of us really want to have a smaller carbon footprint and live in ways that respect the environment, but it's complicated and expensive. So staying in eco places on vacation is a great way to dip your toe into the water. Matt's fulfilled a lifelong dream building a sustainable Earthship, so he can now host short-term travelers interested in a green lifestyle. Luke has 2 beautiful spaces on his horse farm, where he loves to interact with guests and educate visitors about sustainable living. For the urban traveler who wants to experience upcycling at its finest, Matt and Gwen have created a space filled with antiques and refurbished finds. Add to that a profusion of plants, and this space is perfect for any short-term rental or special occasion. I have been so impressed with the craftsmanship of these homeowners. They're building furniture, salvaging antiques, and putting together spaces that are jaw-dropping and driven by sustainability. For me, this was a really eye-opening experience. Not only was it a great treat to get out into the country, but also to learn about new building techniques and to discover that eco-living doesn't mean sacrificing style or comfort.